Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Gyan Sampada. Today I am going to deal with a very innovative topic which is regarding the exams. So now the season of exams is starting. It may be competitive or academic. And nowadays we are switching from the descriptive type of examination to the multiple choice questions, that is MCQs. So today we are going to see some of the main top 10 tricks and tips to crack any competitive exam. It may be KCET, NET, CTET or any of such kind. So here we are going to deal with some of the guesswork in case of multiple choice questions. So hopefully it is going to help you all out to solve many of the questions and come up with the correct answers for it. So let's get started. Trick number 1 is that we should never follow any sequence. That is, whenever we get the question paper, suddenly students will start from beginning and they will start solving each and every question without going through the question paper. Or many people, they just go from reverse direction, that is they will start solving from the last question coming to the first question. But if you follow such sequence, time management becomes very difficult. So some of the tips here are that we know sequence is a particular order which other things are going to follow. So if you are confused in between some of the options of any question, then you shouldn't waste time for solving that question. You should just skip it and go for next question. So what happens? One, the time will be saved, and second thing, when you read the question, you will be just printing it in your mind. So if you have read the concept before, so it will be stored in your memory, and when you read it again after solving some other questions, you may just recollect it from your memory and you might get a correct answer out of the 4 or 5 options. That's why instead of going through or following the sequence, better you skip such complicated questions. And when you don't get stuck in particular question, obviously time is going to be managed. This is the main thing you need to remember whenever you are applying or whenever you are attending a competitive exam. Coming to the second trick or a tip, which is about time management. You need to attempt all the questions and also you need to manage the time for it. So here I am just dividing the whole duration of your exam into 3 stages. So if you are having 2 hours exam, just make 3 parts of it. So first, it is 25% of time. So if you are having 100 minutes time duration, you need to just spend 25 minutes for this. So what you will do under this 25% time is that you need to go through all the questions and answer only those questions which have direct answers, which you have already read, and when you read the question, easily you can write the answer for it. That is, you need to be sure about that option. If you are having any confusion, then just leave it. So this is your first step, where first you are going to collect some of the answers which you already know. So some part of the paper will be solved, and simultaneously all the questions which are asked, that will be printed in your mind. Then by doing this, again you are going to save certain time. You won't get stuck at some point, so that you won't be getting time for solving or even attempting more questions. Then coming to the second part, that is, you need to consider 65% of your time, that is the maximum duration of your examination. Under this, you will be solving for lengthy as well as time consuming questions. But remember, whenever you are solving, you should know that you are investing time only when you are sure of getting the right answer. Let us say there is a long question. you know the solution is lengthy, but you have not read the concept of it, then don't waste your time for it. You can invest that time for solving other questions. So in this main duration stage, you need to solve and mark the options which are correct, and based on this you will be covering most of the problems or the questions of your examination. Then coming to the last stage. So you have solved the direct questions also and also some of the lengthier questions. And sometimes, or we can say many a times, you might not have completed whole the syllabus. So concepts, some will be known and some will be unknown for you. And this 10% of time is kept for that part. So here you need to attempt those questions which you have no idea about it, what might be the correct answer. And in that case, you need to go for guesswork. That is, if you are sure of it, you can give it a try. But remember one thing, if you are having negative marking in your examination, only if you are sure of giving it a try, then only do the guesswork. Otherwise, if there is negative marking, just skip it, because that will be influencing you in a negative direction. So this is how you need to attempt the exam, by dividing into 3 stages, so that you won't miss any of the questions or you won't get stuck in any of the question. So this is the second step. And coming to the third trick or tip, which is you need to score from the content given. So what actually it is? In most of the competitive exams, you will have comprehension work. That is, you will be given with a big passage based on which you will be having different questions. In that case, you need to first understand the concept which is already given and then interpret what you have read. And by making yourself understand about the passage, you need to answer it. So what happens here? You need to first decode it, whatever passage is given, then make connections with respect to the concept. That is, whatever passage is given, there will be some characters, their work or any links with it. So connections are to be made. And third one is you need to think deeply. So it is we can say that it is a very time consuming task. So whenever you are solving a comprehension part, tip is that you need to first read and understand the given questions which are asked related to passage. See, if you just start reading the passage, the question framer is framing it in such a way that you will waste most of the time in reading the passage itself. So what many people do, first they will go through all the passage work and then they will read the questions regarding it, and finally they will read it again and search for the answers for given questions. So here majority of time will be wasted. That's why when you're solving such thing, you need to first read the questions and understand the question. And after understanding, you need to collect or grasp any important term from the question, so that when you read the passage, whenever you get that term while reading the passage, you can understand you have a corresponding question given. So while reading only, you will get the answer for it, based on which you can directly mark. So what is the advantage of this part is that when you use this tip, you save the time as well as it guarantees marks also. So the content is already given and you need to just read it and answer the question. So you can score from the content which is already given. So this is the part where you shouldn't miss, but you need to remember how to manage the time. Coming to the next tip, that is tip number 4, eliminating the options. Under this, we need to first eliminate the offset values, means the odd ones. If in your options option A is 0, option B is 1, option C is 2 and option D is something like 20. Then in such case, you can't just say that 20 might be the answer, because if that is so, most of the students, when there is an odd term, they will just opt for it, and examiners knows that. That's why in order to confuse you people, examiners sets the options in such a way that they are confusing and they will be interrelated. But in all the questions you might not get it. So whenever you are getting such option, first you need to eliminate it. So 0, 1, 2 and 20, out of which 20 can be eliminated. After that, if you know the answer among the 3 options, you can just go for it. And if you have no idea, then you need to go for the probability check. Means which answer may be correct for the given question. But remember, probability doesn't mean you just need to close your eyes and put a finger, whichever option is there, you can't tick it on. You need to think logically also. So here, whenever there is an option like all of the above or none of the above, research as well as many of the previous year paper analysis shows that 90% time there is a probability for that option to be correct. But before ticking on it, think logically whether for that question whether this answer is suitable or no. Directly just after seeing all of the above or none of the above, if you tick it, it is your fault. First you need to go through the question, understand and then put a mark on which you think it is logically correct. So this is how we need to eliminate the option to make our task easy. So the confusion between options will be eliminated. Next, coming to the trick number 5, which is about the most probable option to be correct. So whenever you have no idea about the concept of the question or you have not gone through that concept, you can just do the guesswork, and while you are guessing which option might be having the highest probability to be correct is the question. So in that case, research says that option number A is the least probable option to be correct, whereas option number B and option number C are the most probable one, whereas option number D is less probable. So if you want to just do a guesswork, remember when you are not having any idea and when there is no negative marking in your exam, then only you should go for these. Otherwise it will be risky for that. So here, if you want to choose for any option, you can first choose for B, then C, D and later it will be A. But again you need to give a logical thought before marking the answer. So what happens, many a time option number A looks attractive. That is, if you go from some rough ideas, you will get one answer, and that might be in your option number A. And the examiner plans it so that without going for next try or without going for next options, you will just choose that. So that's why it will be set as option number A. And whenever you solve during the exam and you get the answer which is already there in the option list, you feel very happy. And without analyzing, we just go for that option and we mark it. And that is what the examiner wants and examiner knows about it. So before marking, always verify your answer and be aware of all these things. And here verification is required again and again. Main thing, you should be aware if the exam has negative marking. If it is not there, then you can just go for the guesswork. And another thing which many students or people suggest is that if you don't have any answer for any given question, just choose any one option and mark the same option for all the questions. Let us say there are some 20 questions which you don't have any idea about. Then you might just choose A, B, C, D, any one of this like C. And for all the 20 options, you will just put or mark on option number C. So if you are going to do that, again it might help you for some extent. But main thing you need to remember is that out of 70 questions, if you consider, 20 questions you have not answered. But other 50 questions, you should be sure that those answers at least you will score 40 or 42 as correct one. In that case only you can just opt for any one option. And if you go through some of the papers and their answer keys, you might observe that the weightage for each option will be equal. That is, if it is 100 questions, then almost 25 questions will have option number A, option number B, option number C as well as option number D. But however, there will be certain discrepancy with plus or minus 5%. So option number A may be having correct answers for almost 20 questions, whereas option number B may be for 30 questions. Like that it may happen. But whenever you go through an exam answer key, you will not observe that all questions will be having only two options, like only B and only C are the two options. It is not going to happen. So probability or weightage is given to all the options. So whenever you are not having that confidence about the concept and how to answer the option, then in that case you will be having certain time and you just need to go through the options whatever you have selected. So just calculate for how many questions you have answered as option number A, and for how many option number B, how many for C, and option number D. So if I take an example, out of 70 questions, I have marked 12 options as A and 7 as B, 20 as C, and 17 questions I have opted option as D. So out of 70 questions, still 14 questions I am having which I have no idea about. And in that case, by knowing these numbers, you can just see that option number B I have marked very less. And that's why I can just choose option number B and I can put or mark all the next 14 questions as option number B. 100% it is not going to be correct, but out of 14, at least 10 questions might be correct, or at least 7 questions will come correct. So instead of choosing A, B, C, D in that manner or just by closing eyes, better you can analyze, take a survey and mark it. You might think you may invest more time in that, but once you just calculate and later mark it, in marking same option you will not get, or you need not waste most of the time. So this is how you need to go for guesswork. So here one thing you need to remember is there shouldn't be negative marking, and second thing is you need to be sure that whatever questions you have answered are correct. Then only you can just take the ratios based on your answers. If all the questions you have just opted as a guess, then these things are not going to work. So main thing is hard work, study and practice. However, sometimes time and other situations won't match, and in that case you need to go for guesswork. You can't just depend only on the guesswork. So this is about trick number 5. Then coming to trick number 6, which is to remember direct values. Many a times you will be having frequently used values while calculating. Like if you need to calculate something related to energy, then the thermal energy kB into T. So at room temperature, what is the value of kBT? You need to remember. In that way, what all are the frequently used values like root of 2? All these things you need to remember, because if you just forget those things. Again, during the exam, you will waste your time in calculating these small values. And the trick here is, just by hearting you can't remember all the values, but you can just write down some of the values or formulas which are used frequently on a paper, and wherever you sit for study, just you can paste that paper. So whenever you look at those things, your mind will grasp those, and even without by hearting or more hard work, easily you can recollect it. Or nowadays in digital world, there is another companion which will be always stick on with the students, that is the mobile. So you can just take a picture of those data and set as your home screen wallpaper or lock screen theme on your mobile. So whenever you use it, first you will see that, and knowingly or unknowingly that will be printed in your mind. It is something like whenever we see the same thing hundreds of times, in your home also many things will be here and there. You will not just concentrate on anything and you will by heart that this thing is here, chair will be here, table is here, or kitchen is somewhere else, or salt is kept in some shelf. No, just by looking, even without practicing, you will get to know where which ingredient is placed. In the same way, if you use this trick, easily it is going to help you in your examination. So your time and hard work will be saved. So first hard work is that what all frequently used values or relations are there, you need to just collect it. That is the main thing. And next, trick number 7. You should use the approximation method. So many a times you will be having the fractions or decimal calculations, and without calculator easily you can't solve this, because like if it is 721.5 divided by root 2 into pi. So here pi value is 3.142, whereas in the numerator also you are having a decimal one. So if you are going to solve in that manner, almost if you are not good with the mathematics, easily you will lose majority of the duration of the time, that is of exam. So you need to go for approximation method. So if 3.142 is taken as 3, then the numerator is going to be increased. So here denominator decreases, numerator increases. In that way, try to minimize the complexity of the problem. That is, if there is a decimal, make it as a whole number just by adjusting the fractions. So this is how you can simply understand and realize, or if you are not getting the exact answer also, you will get nearby answers which you can match with the given options and directly write the correct answer. And while you are having the problems regarding mathematics or even physics, you need to use some shortcut tricks which needs some practice, and approximation method is the best one. And if you have the knowledge of Vedic mathematics, that is going to be well and good. And remember, you should know the tables from 2 up till 20, or if it is possible up till 25, it will be best. Otherwise, again, if it is 18 into 5, again you will just multiply all those things, again you will waste 5 minutes. So if you know all the tables, it is again going to save your time and perform well in your exam. Then coming to the trick number 8, you need to study smarter. So what does it mean? So hard study is just like by hearting or cramming on the concept, but smart study is not about memorizing, it is about visualizing. So whenever you study any concept, first visualize it, make some picturization, imagine it, try to link the concept to your surroundings with some real life examples. So when you do it, you will remember the concept for more time. So just by reading a story in your book, you can't remember all the things. But if you imagine that story in your mind, easily you can recollect the story. Because whatever we had studied or whatever we had heard in our childhood, those stories still we remember in our olden days. But if you are just reading it, whatever concept, if you are studying in MSc first year, what you have studied in your BSc first year or BSc third year also you are going to forget, because what you have done there just by hearting and memorizing. But if you visualize the stories which were heard when we were in childhood, just 5 to 6 years also, we remember that, because at that time we used to imagine the things. And the same thing is going to work here. Any concept, whatever you are going to study, first picturize in your brain and then you can link using some examples. So this is how you need to study smart. And as the exams are approaching, time will be less, pressure will be more. But before the exams only we will prepare a lot from studying lots of books. But just a week or a 2 week before your exams, don't go through all the books. Whatever you have prepared the notes, even if it is small, almost 70% syllabus also you have covered, 30 is not covered, don't go for studying the 30%. First concentrate on the 70%. So revise using the short notes, flowcharts, mind maps, etc. So when you do it, again your brains, eye, everything will be put into work, and that will be very much helpful in your exams, that you will understand while you're performing the exam. So this is how you need to study smart. Coming to the ninth option, you need to divide the question. So this is a main trick when you need to solve some lengthy or twisted question. So answer will be very simple for the question, but many students just get confused in understanding the question itself. Why? Because the question will be very much lengthy, like 5 to 6 lines, and just by looking at the volume of it, just they will skip the question. But don't do it. So if the question is lengthy, first read it. But while reading, just divide the question. So when you read it in parts, whatever information is there in each part of the question, collect it. If any data is given in the problem, values of certain like concentration of carriers, it is given, write down n is equals to whatever data is there. Temperature is given in another part of the question, write down T is equals to 300 Kelvin or so. So just by splitting or dividing the question into parts and collecting the information given in that part of the question, we can easily understand the lengthy as well as twisted question. So here again, by doing this type of method or tip, you can easily understand what actually they want from you. And if you just go on reading the whole question till you reach the end of the question, you will forget the first part of the question. So don't do that, because it wastes lot of time. Coming to the last and very important tip in order to crack any of the exam is that you need to go through different questions. So once the exam is announced, we get the syllabus. From the syllabus, we are going to just collect lots of books or materials, we go on studying. Even if you have studied 100% of books, dozens of books, if you have not solved any of the questions, your performance is going to be deteriorating. So you need to solve some model questions. Model question doesn't mean you need to take it from the guide or anything like that. You may also create some of the question, and you need to solve previous year question papers. This is very important part or tip if you want to perform well in your exam. So many a times what will happen, some questions are going to be repeated, and when you see those questions easily, you can just opt for it in your exam, and this is going to save a lot of time which can be utilized for solving some other complicated questions. And only when you go through some questions you will be prepared to face the exam. If you have not solved the questions, you won't be that confident when you will be solving some questions and going to the exam. And you can just remember that whatever exam performance will be there, it is directly proportional to the number of questions which is solved. That is, your performance has to be good, means more and more number of questions you need to solve. It may be model questions or previous year questions. So this is the main tip for all the students or aspirants in order to perform good in your exam. So even if you study dozens or more than that of some reference books or standard copies, materials, whatever, main thing is your eyes should be familiar with facing some questions. And the advantage is that when you do that, the quickness in solving the question as well as obtaining the correct answer will be more. And also you will understand how to approach a question and how to solve it. So these are the most important 10 tricks or tips which, if you remember, easily you can crack any of the competitive exams. But main thing is you need to study, and these things are depending or these are going to complement your studies. So all the best for your coming exams. If you like the content, please do like as well as share with your friends and benefit others also. Thank you for watching.